now by visiting www.prettycoolkids.com.
Fruta, taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice of every day. Whoa, Fruta.
Hi, good evening and welcome to IBN. We are live with C Results as well as we are live on Facebook streaming right now. So families, if you know you have your cousin or your niece or your nephew and they have not made it home from school yet because we are in a little bad weather, they can probably stream us from the car on Facebook, okay? Because they really don't want to miss this episode. We are going to do some interesting stuff, some really crucial elements in creative writing. And that is what we'll be focusing on today, creative writing for the next 15 minutes. So before we get in any further with what we are going to do today, we're just going to discuss a little bit about what we did last day. And I just want to remind viewers that you can call us at any time. The phone lines will be open and we welcome your participation. Call us, help us out, let us help you, let us help each other. This program is entirely to benefit all students, Standard 4, Standard 5, but of course, we're aiming for the Standard 5 SCA pupils. Just a little reminder, now that you may have forgotten, but SCA is a mere 18 weeks away. So we have a little bit of time remaining, and we have a lot of work to do. So if you know you have missed an episode and you really need to just go back on our Facebook on C Results page and view and review what we did. It's really important, it's really beneficial. And remind your friends, invite your friends as well as on the education app, Edmodo, which is becoming very popular and a lot of students are participating, taking the quizzes and so on. And we are really thankful for all of that. Okay, so let's get started. So last day, my colleague Ijaz, he went through the different types of sentences in narrative style writing. But before he did that, what I did, we went through the narrative and the report style writing, which is known as expository style writing. Now, if you are tuning in for the first time and you missed Tuesday's episode, this is what you missed. We discussed the rubric for narrative and report writing. And why that is important is because we went through all the different elements that your child is going to be marked on. So there are four different criteria and we went through each one. So each one explained what the 5 marks will be allotted for. There is a maximum of 5 marks in each criterion, which we did last day. So after doing that, you would have understood better what is expected from you, the child, and you, the parent. So if you come home and you see your child getting 15 out of 20 in creative writing, whether it's narrative or report style writing, and you see little comments to the bottom written by the teacher, you can always reflect on the rubric and there's your answer. You will see the weak areas highlighted and that's what you really have to work on. You have to work on those weak areas so you get your marks up to 20. Those 20 marks in creative writing, very crucial. You don't want to lower that mark at all, believe me. So let's just discuss and review the 4 types of sentences before we move on in today's work. So like I said, we are going to be starting with narrative style writing. This is story writing if you don't know the term narrative. It's descriptive story type writing. This is what we were accustomed to. Parents, I'm mainly speaking to you here. When you were growing up, you would have done narrative style writing. The format is a little different from what we were accustomed to, and we also reviewed that last day, and it's very different to report style writing. That's why it's very important that you know the difference between these 2 styles of writing. So as we go further, we are going to discuss, each week we are going to discuss how you can improve in each style of writing. So the reason that we discuss types of sentences was because these are the types of sentences that are needed for narrative style writing and report style writing. Now, not necessarily all 4 types will be needed for both of them, but you're going to see where you can use them and how you can use them. And you must know that you are getting marks for varied type sentences. That's very important. That's in your rubric here. I can probably point that out to you. Right here. So you have, and these are the 4 different criteria here, and this is what we explained. So in your language use and organization and so on, you need to know your varied type sentences. So it's moving forward. Let's begin with simple or declarative sentences. Now I'm just going to recap quickly because we did a thorough lesson on this last day. So this is for our new viewers. Each and every day we welcome all our new viewers. So this is for the new viewers. And in case you missed probably jotting down a little note and you wanted to make some sentences, create some sentences, because I'm going to post a quiz later on this week. We're almost to the end of the week, so very soon, probably later today or tomorrow. Here's your opportunity to grab this information now. You have your simple type sentences. These sentences just give information. They are very simple sentences. As you can see here, we have some very simple examples. He took my pen and threw it in the bin. Or, the beach is the perfect place for me. Or, he loves football. I love going to the beach. We are a happy family. All very simple sentences. The second type of sentence that we discussed was command or imperative sentence. Please note the language use or the vocabulary of our words here. Imperative sentence means the same as command, but you need to familiarize yourself with the language. So these sentences give commands or make requests. So for examples here, we gave an example as how it can be used as a command and how it can be used as a request. So as a command, go to school, do your work. As a request, please return to your seat. Please obey your parents. Like that. So it can be used as a command or request. I hope you are taking notes. This is important, as I mentioned. Then, third type, you have a question, interrogative type sentence. This here, this name here suggests question. It's the same thing. So it's just question or interrogative. So you're just basically asking a question. Are you viewing C results right now? Did you view our program on Tuesday? Like that. It's just a simple question. And please note our punctuation there. All questions end with a question mark. You have your exclamatory sentence. These types of sentences express emotion or excitement. So if you're really excited and you probably went to school, you got 20 in your creative writing, thank God I did it, you know? So you're exclaiming how you feel, you're expressing how you feel. So these were your 4 types of sentences that we did last day. Today what we will be doing is discussing paragraph writing. We are going to analyze the paragraph sentence by sentence. So let's look at that. Good. So here's just a recap of what we just did. So I'm going to move on now to paragraph writing. How many of you know what is a paragraph? Have you written a paragraph before? I believe you have. You are writing paragraphs daily. What can you tell me about a paragraph? So first we must understand what is a paragraph first and foremost. So a paragraph is made up of a number of sentences which are developed around a main idea. Now when I say the word main idea, this is actually key. This main idea here, which I'm going to explain to you shortly what it is all about, is key in writing your paragraph. So you must know how to create sentences and you must know how to put them together to form a paragraph. So a paragraph can be 5 to 6 sentences. It all depends on what you are writing. Ideally, when you are writing a paragraph, there are a number of things that you should do or should not do. So we must indent. You will notice in the upcoming examples each paragraph begins with an indent. Whether it's narrative style writing or report style writing, you must indent when you are starting your paragraph. That's very important. That is how the reader is going to tell that it's a new idea and you are starting a new paragraph. If you start at the margin, we will not necessarily know that you are starting a new paragraph. The reader may think that this is just one ongoing paragraph there. A lot of times, students in a rush, they're not reviewing their work, and they are careless with this. So indent, believe it or not, it sounds very simple. It's quite important, and you must not forget that. That's very important there. Not skipping lines. So you're not allowed to skip lines when you're writing a paragraph. In the upcoming example, as I mentioned, you will see an example of a paragraph, how it's written, and you will notice that there are no lines skipped. So if you're writing a sentence, my name is Nyla, that's your first sentence there. You will not go on a new line to write your second sentence. You will simply just have a finger space and continue on that same line, providing that you write smaller, right? So you continue on that same line. The point is there that you are not skipping a line or you're not going to a new line there to start a next sentence. You continue on the same line with your paragraph. So you must have a finger space after each sentence, as I mentioned there. You must punctuate and use capital letters where necessary. If you were viewing on Tuesday, we did quite an interesting lesson on punctuation in ELE. Now, we had a lot of callers call in and help us and give us very important tips and reminded us how to use punctuations and the rules associated with them. So when you should use a comma, a question mark, a colon, and so on. So that was also a very beneficial lesson. Like I said, if you missed Tuesday's lesson, please go back to Tuesday on See Results page and you will be able to view that episode, right? So punctuation and capitalization, very crucial. So now we are going to discuss what a paragraph is made of, what it comprises of. So when you're writing a paragraph, there are some things or a few things that you should always have. So a paragraph comprises of a main idea. Why I have the word one here is because in your paragraph, if you have 2 or 3 ideas in one paragraph, you confuse the reader. You are not very clear and coherent in your writing. When you have one idea, you are able to express that idea very thoroughly, and it makes sense to you and it would make sense to the reader. So you must have one idea which can be expressed using a topic sentence. Now, you would be familiar with a topic sentence, as it sometimes or mostly, it depends on how your style of writing can be found at the very first sentence of your paragraph. So a topic sentence sometimes is found the first sentence of your paragraph, but a topic sentence doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be the first sentence. It can be in the middle and it can be in the end. And I'm going to show you examples of what a topic sentence looks like and what it should actually be like. Right? How important it is to focus your supporting details around your main idea. Now, also, when you are writing a paragraph, like I said, it's important that you have supporting details. So the first thing was your main idea. Once you establish your main idea, you must have supporting details to go with your main idea. Your supporting details clarify, explain, describe, and expand the main idea. Right? It gives meaning to the main idea. It is additional information there for the reader. And concluding sentences. Your concluding sentence is a sentence that wraps up your paragraph. It is linked to your topic sentence, and I will show you how exactly your topic sentence and your concluding sentence is linked. One thing that I am to mention, supporting details. Sometimes you're writing a paragraph, you're on line 3 or probably sentence 2, and you do not know what to write again. You are stuck, you're sitting there, you're thinking, you don't know what to write. This is where supporting details comes in. That's why you must know, once you know what is your main idea, you must have enough information planned out so you can make your supporting details surround your main idea. You have enough supporting details there to complete that paragraph. And I'm not talking about irrelevant details, because that is also very important what we are dealing with there. Supporting details, and then we have irrelevant details. And I'm going to show you what irrelevant details look like in a paragraph and how it's very easy to stray into relevant details. So now we're going to analyze a paragraph. What you are seeing here is what we are going to be doing for today's lesson. We are going to be analyzing paragraphs. So we're going to find out what is the main idea of the paragraph and the topic sentence. The main idea and the topic sentence is very closely linked. So we might find that as one sentence in our paragraph, but you should know that the main idea and the topic sentence is very closely linked. Quite similar there. We're going to find out what are the supporting details. We're going to see what is the concluding sentence in our paragraph, and we are going to see how the topic and the concluding sentences link, how they are matched. So I'm just going to show you an example here. I'm going to point out for you the topic sentence, your supporting details, and your concluding sentence. Now, after I have completed my 2 examples, the phone lines will be open. So please pay close attention to what I am going to do. So when you are calling in, you will have an idea of what I expect you to answer. So whether we are looking for the main idea, the supporting details, or the concluding sentence, you will have an opportunity there to answer those questions. So let's look at this example here. Aunt May is a special person in my life. I like her because she is kind to me more than anyone else. She can cook, drive a van, make sweet tasting sorrel, and her homemade sponge cake is the best. She lives next to me and I spend a lot of time with her. Now, what is important here, remember what we are looking for. Your topic sentence, your supporting details, and your concluding sentence. So let's look at this example. What sentence here, which sentence here do you think is your main idea or your topic sentence? So if you have guessed this first sentence that is highlighted red here, you are correct. Now, this main idea tells us what this paragraph is going to be about. And that is what your main idea is about ideally. It should tell the reader what is going to be discussed for the rest of the paragraph. So here is your main idea. It is talking about who is that special person in her life. And then, I like her because she is kind to me more than anyone else. She can cook, drive a van, make sweet tasting sorrel, and her homemade sponge cake is the best. You should note, from I like to the best here is what? Do you think it's a concluding sentence or do you think it's a supporting details? Think about it. Remember, supporting details add to the main idea, it builds on the main idea, and your concluding sentence links to the topic sentence. And when you hear the word conclude, that usually means to the end. So conclude means to end or to wrap up. So these sentences here, or 2 sentences actually, from I like to the best here, these are your supporting sentences or your supporting details. Now, why is it your supporting details? Can you think about why is it that these sentences are your supporting details? So, if you are thinking because they add additional information, they bring out additional information about Aunt May, you are correct. And ideally, this is what supporting details do, right? They add to the main idea. So, I want you to look at this closely here and tell me if you have seen any irrelevant information. Is all of the information on the board or in this paragraph relevant to the main idea? Yes, it is. All the information presented here is relevant to the main idea. And this here is our main idea or our topic sentence. Now, looking at the last line here from she lives next to me and I spend a lot of time with her. This is your concluding sentence. Can you think of a reason why this can be your concluding sentence? Can you remind me what is your concluding sentence? So your concluding sentence must match or link to your main idea. So she lives next to me and I spend a lot of time with her. So this person is talking about the reason or reasons she enjoys Aunt May's company. So far what we discussed, the main idea, supporting details, and your concluding sentence. This is how an ideal paragraph should be laid out. These are the things that you must have when you are writing a paragraph. Let's look at another example. Many individuals study to become engineers, lawyers, accountants, and teachers. Some are doctors, painters, carpenters, and mechanics, while others are pilots, astronauts, and sailors. People can study and follow any profession they choose. I'm just going to give you a minute to read this paragraph. Think about your topic sentence, think about your supporting details, and come up with your concluding sentence. Now, in the last example, you would have seen that your topic sentence was your first sentence. But as I was mentioning earlier, your topic sentence does not necessarily start at the top. It does not need to be on the top here. So in this case, your topic sentence is actually to the bottom. This is your topic sentence here. People can study and follow any profession they choose. So we can open up the phone lines and we welcome any answers or responses at this time. So I'm just going through this example here. People can study and follow any professions they choose. This here is your topic sentence. And it is your topic sentences because this is what your paragraph speaks to. It goes on to describe the different professions or some of the different professions that we know of or that we are exposed to. Right? So tell me, do we have a concluding sentence here? So before I get to the concluding sentence, I'm just going to point out to you the supporting details. Many individuals study to become engineers, lawyers, accountants, and teachers. Some are doctors, painters, carpenters, and mechanics, while others are pilots, astronauts, and sailors. All of this here, supporting details. All of this are supporting details. So now you are wondering, well, where is the concluding sentence if each paragraph must have a concluding sentence? So I'm going to show you now. In this case, or in this paragraph, both your topic sentence and your concluding sentence can be the same. Now it's at the bottom, it ties up your paragraph. So it's the same as your topic sentence there. Or you can probably say that how many individuals study to become engineers, whatever, etc. Right? All of those are supporting details. So I'm going to open up the lines. The lines are open. Please feel free, call us. Look at this example here. I want someone to tell me what is a topic sentence, point out your supporting details, and find your concluding sentence. So, any takers there? In the meantime, I'm just going to point out to you, we're going to read this, and then we're going to point out what we are looking for. A freshwater lake is home to many species of plants and animals. Fishes such as cascadura, tilapia, and cascarab thrive in these lakes. They feed on freshwater shrimp, which can be found among floating plants and grasses. Additionally, the presence of pondweed and algae adds to the diversity, making the freshwater lake a rich and sustainable habitat. So I'm going to point out for you our topic sentence here. Let's look at what our topic sentence can possibly be. What is the main idea? What do you think is the main idea here? A freshwater lake is home to many species of plants and animals. This here is our topic sentence. The reason that this is our topic sentence, this is what this paragraph explains. It goes on to talk about plants and animals found in freshwater lake. So this is your topic sentence. Now let's find our supporting details. We have fishes such as, so now they're going to explain what kind of fishes can be found in fresh water. You have fishes such as cascadura, tilapia, and cascarab thrive in these lakes. They feed on freshwater shrimp, which can be found among floating plants and grasses. Now, those there are your supporting details. Why? Because they talk about the species of plants and animals that can be found in fresh water. So I want to remind you here that's your supporting details. Supporting details here. And your concluding sentence will follow to the end. Additionally, the presence of pondweed and algae adds to the diversity, making the freshwater lake a rich and sustainable habitat. Now, if you notice how closely that is linked to the topic sentence, where they are saying that a lake is home to many species of plants and animals. So it is easy to identify our concluding sentence from additionally to habitat. Quite a long sentence, but look at the punctuation marks. You must observe the punctuation marks. So after additionally, we have a semicolon here, and then you have your full stop. So it's a long sentence, but it is properly punctuated. So here you have your concluding sentence. I am wondering if students are afraid of creative writing. It's kind of a sore subject, but please feel free. This is why we are here, and I urge you, I encourage you to call us. Here is your chance to say, well, miss, I don't understand X, Y, and Z, and I will be happy to explain it to you. Again, we're just going to go through with this topic for today, but any questions that you have are welcomed, and I will offer some help to you. Let's look at another example here. Orange juice. Orange juice is one very popular drink for breakfast. There are many different kinds of juices. Others which are consumed are apple, pine, and even lemon juice. Portugal juice is even liked by many pupils across Trinidad and Tobago. Can you tell me what is your favorite juice? I like orange and grapefruit mixed. That's my favorite. So let's see here. Let's look for our topic sentence. Your first sentence says, orange juice is one very popular drink for breakfast. Is that your topic sentence? Are you thinking that can be your topic sentence? Let's continue reading. There are many different kinds of juices. Others which are consumed are. Here, now they start to discuss what are the different kinds of juices. So that is not your topic sentence. Your topic sentence is a sentence that tells you this information before what is going to be discussed. So that will be, so if they listed out various types of juices, what do you think can be your topic sentence there? That is very simple. Your topic sentence here will be, there are many different kinds of juices. Because this is the information that we want to find out. We want to find out the types of juices liked by pupils across Trinidad and Tobago. And here is your topic sentence. It tells you what is going to be discussed. This here can be supporting details. They started off the paragraph with using a piece of supporting details. So here they have supporting details. And then, of course, all of this is also supporting details. And then they go on to say Portugal juice is even liked by many pupils across Trinidad and Tobago. Your concluding sentence, which wraps up the types of juices liked by various pupils across Trinidad and Tobago. So before we go to a break, I'm just going to do one more example. Parents, please encourage your children to call in and ask questions. I'm urging you, can you help me answer some of these questions here, okay? You can call that 645 number, 645-4426-663-8373. So let's look at this example here. I am fascinated by the numerous calculations that I do to get my answer. No other subject gives me such satisfaction. I feel empowered when I solve difficult problems. Mathematics is my favorite subject at school. How many of you enjoy mathematics the most? So let's see. What sentence do you believe is your topic sentence? Which are your supporting details, and which is your concluding sentence here? So let's read the first sentence. I am fascinated by the numerous calculations that I do to get my answer. So we have a caller on the line. We're going to take this call. Hello, caller. Good evening. Welcome.
Yes.
Hi, nice of you to join us. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Mobala Matil,
And what's your name?
Javid,
Okay, very good to have you with us. So are you going to answer for me topic sentence? Are you going to point out? Okay, which line do you believe is our topic sentence?
Mathematics is my favorite subject at school.
Excellent job. Why did you say mathematics is my favorite subject at school to be your...
Because they are talking about mathematics.
This is exactly, you are very correct. Give yourself a little clap. I am proud of you. So the caller is very correct there in the sense that this entire paragraph is based on why the person likes mathematics. So this here is your topic sentence. I would like someone else to give me a call and probably give me your supporting details, if you can, or your concluding sentence, whichever you are more comfortable with. In the meantime, let's go on. I am fascinated by the numerous calculations that I do to get my answer. We already established that is not our topic sentence. Our topic sentence is to the bottom rather than to the top or the middle. Here are your supporting details. You have your supporting details. So this example is similar to the one that we did before, where you have a topic sentence and a concluding sentence similarly written to the bottom here. And the rest of the information given is supporting details or supporting details. Good. So we're just going to take, okay, we have a call on the line. I'm going to take this call. Caller, good evening. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so since I did this one, I'm just going to go to my next slide here. And let's see. So I'm just going to read it through. Cricket is played during the dry season at school. Football is played during the rainy season, and volleyball is only played by a few. Marble, skipping, and tag are played by the smaller children, while tug of war engages the older children. Various sports are played by children at my school. So I know I read that a little bit quickly. I don't know if you need to take your time with it. But from what we just read there, can you tell me what is a topic sentence?
The topic sentence is various sports are played by children at my school.
Excellent job. Why is that your topic sentence?
Because that is what they are referring to in the whole
Paragraph. Excellent job. Don't go yet. What, do you want to tell me what are the supporting details here?
Okay. Supporting details are from cricket
Yeah.
to marbles, to children.
Excellent job. All of that seems like a lot, but all of that are your supporting details. Great job. Thank you so much for calling us. Great. We have another call on the line there. Good evening, caller. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good today.
What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Barataria.
Okay, great. So let's look at the same example on the board here. Do you agree?
From Woodville. I just asked a question.
Sure.
Is after you find the main topic and the finding the details, everything after is the conclusion?
You mean your last sentence here?
Yes. No,
Okay.
Everything in any situation. It's everything after the conclusion.
Okay, so I'm going to explain that to you, right? So if we have this paragraph here, thanks so much for that question. You can probably cut off there and listen to the explanation. So the caller is asking if you find the supporting details and the topic sentence, if everything else is your conclusion. Now that would depend how your paragraph is written. In this case here, you have your supporting details up until children. You have quite a lot of supporting details here. In your last sentence, you have your topic sentence. Now, you don't necessarily have a concluding sentence in this case as a separate sentence. This sentence also works as your concluding sentence as it wraps up your paragraph. If you look at this example, here, you would notice in this case, we had our main idea or topic sentence first. So this here was our topic sentence or main idea, very similarly linked there. You can use the term interchangeably. And then you have your supporting details. From I like to the best were your supporting details. All of this here, additional information that you needed to build on to make your main idea, right? And then your last sentence in this case you are just discussing now or wrapping up your paragraph. Here, you have your concluding sentence. So it depends how your paragraph is written. You will be able to see if you have a main idea, supporting details, and a concluding sentence separately. If not, it can work. It can work as in this case, with your topic sentence and concluding sentence being the same. I hope that answers your question. And any other questions there, I welcome it. I'm just going to take a short break. Please stay locked with us. Stay locked with See Results to See Results, and we'll be back after these short messages.
Keep refreshed with Oasis Premium. Keep refreshed with Oasis Premium Purified Water. Now available in more thirst-quenching options. 330 ml, 600 ml, 1.5 liter, and 5 liters. Choose the size that fits you best. Grab one today.
Let me hear you sing. Got to have my Viva, water but so much better. Got to have my Viva, water but so much better.
Viva sparkling flavored water. Water but better.
IBN can be viewed on the go now with the Airlink TV app for Google devices. Simply go to the Google Play Store, search for the Airlink TV app. Download the app, click on the link and fill out the form. The account activation will be emailed or texted to the user. It's safe as no credit card is needed. The first 30 days are free and you can subscribe and receive a box for your TV to stream the same content.
Great news! With Trinidad Fresh, you get 70% real fruit juice, and it's available in fruit punch, orange, and apple.
Trinidad Fresh.
Fruta, taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice of every day. Whoa, Fruta.
I'm a cool kid. You're a cool kid. We are cool kids. Are you a cool kid? Every day I want it. I need to drink lots of it. Full of fruit, vitamin C. Give me lots of it. My imagination is growing and so am I. I'm getting big. So give me fruit of cool kids. It's so juicy. So I could touch the sky.
Become a cool kid now by visiting www.fruiticoolkids.com.
Good evening and welcome back to IBN. We are live with See Results. We are also live on our Facebook page, See Results. Please tune in wherever you are. You don't want to miss what's happening here. Before the break, we were just discussing the elements of a paragraph, what a paragraph comprises of. And those things include a main idea, our topic sentence, you have your supporting details, and your concluding sentence. So now that we have discussed what a paragraph comprises of, and we saw the actual layout of a paragraph, I'm going to show you what is called irrelevant details. So we are still on the topic of paragraph writing, but now we're going to look at a paragraph that has irrelevant details in it. So all the time we are looking at relevant details or details pertaining to your paragraph only. Now we're going to look at a paragraph there and try to identify the detail or details that are not necessary or not needed when you are writing a paragraph. Like I was saying earlier, sometimes you are writing, you get stuck, and let's face it, you write a little bit of nonsense. So we want to avoid writing irrelevant details is the correct term there. We want to avoid writing irrelevant details. We want to stick to the task, stick to the topic, stick to the main idea. So I'm going to show you how to avoid writing irrelevant details and which information may not necessarily be needed in a paragraph. So to avoid irrelevant details, we must know that irrelevant details take away from the effectiveness and enjoyment of a piece of writing. So if you have written so far up to sentence 4, very well written, all sentences flowing, sequential, everything. And then on the next line you have something very irrelevant that's going to throw your reader off. Well, now the reader is wondering, well, where did this come from? You must know that you should write your sentences in a flow and a sequence, as well as avoid irrelevant details. You do get marks for sequence and details and so on. So that's why it's important that we know how to avoid irrelevant details. You must be mindful to only include details which explain or expand on your main idea, which is what we were just saying. You have to be mindful to only include information that is relevant, only things that are needed for that paragraph. Do not stray, try not to go off topic, go off task. So I have an example here that I'm going to present to you. The market was abuzz with early morning activity. I woke up earlier than usual and hurriedly brushed my teeth. Vendors were busy making the final preparations at their stalls, while early bird consumers moved to their favorite sellers for the best offers. The familiar chorus promising fresh produce at cheap prices turned the heads of a few first-timers, convincing them to change directions as they fell to the charm of the experienced seller. Here's your paragraph. We are not necessarily going to pinpoint your topic sentence, your supporting details, and concluding sentence. We can if you would like to, if you want to call in and probably give a suggestion as to what your topic sentence, supporting details, and concluding sentence is. That's not a problem. But what we are going to focus on here is irrelevant details. So in this example, I have highlighted for you the irrelevant detail. Now, the topic sentence here was about the market was abuzz with early morning activity. So they are talking about the activities that are leading up to the day in the market. And then they went on to list whatever activities it had. But before they did so, in your supporting details, the writer here had, I woke up earlier than usual and hurriedly brushed my teeth. Now, what does that have to do with this paragraph? What does that have to do with the buzz, with the excitement of the market, activities going on there? Nothing. It has nothing to do with what is happening with the activities in the market. So this here, this is what irrelevant details look like. Yes, you might want to add in your sixth sentence there, but that's not the way to do it. This is irrelevant details. We do not need this piece of information in this paragraph. It has nothing to do with your topic sentence. So you must be mindful to only include information needed for your topic sentence. Let's move on to our next example there. Flour is the key ingredient in many dishes. It forms the base of the dough used to make pizza. Flour can also be found in bread, roti, pastries, and even in pancakes. I prefer rice to flour. Flour is also used in the creation of delicious, thick, and creamy sauces. So many of us are addicted to flour, but let's see. We know that flour isn't the best for us for our diet all the time, so be mindful of that. Now, getting back here to this example, we are looking or trying to identify your piece of irrelevant information. It's easy for us to see here because I have highlighted that information. This paragraph focuses on flour as a key ingredient in many dishes. And they go on to mention the various dishes that flour can be used in. Now, you will notice that the writer added in, I prefer rice to flour. Does this paragraph deal with preference? No, it does not. Preference has nothing to do with anything in this paragraph. This here is irrelevant information. You did not need to put in your preference. It's not about what you like. It's not about what you prefer. We are talking about flour being a key ingredient in the dishes. And you wanted to highlight some of the dishes made using flour. So this piece of information here, quite irrelevant. You do not need it. It's not needed there. Good. Now we have an example here. The phone lines are open. Well, we have a few minutes before we take a short pause again, but let's see how much we can get covered until then. So I'm just going to read it through for you, and maybe after the break we can do it. Danny jumped through the window as he was in hot pursuit of the armed bandits. He had him in his sights and was determined to bring the perpetrator to justice. The cat slowly walked past the table and settled on his mat for a cat nap. As the bandit turned the corner, Danny lost sight of him. Still determined, he quickened his pace to close in on this ruthless intruder. So if a caller there, I'm just going to quickly take this. Good evening, caller.
Hi.
Good evening. Welcome. What's your name and where you're calling us from?
Ivan.
Okay, so we lost that there. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back after these messages.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله
Good evening and welcome back to IBN Live with C Results. Not to mention, we are also live on Facebook with our C Results page. Before our break, we were discussing analyzing paragraphs, finding the topic sentence, your supporting details, and your concluding sentence. So that was the first half of the show, or the lesson rather. The second half here deals with irrelevant details. And this is our first example piece here, which we are welcoming callers to give us a call, help us detect our irrelevant piece of information here. So I'm just going to read this paragraph through with you, and then we are going to detect that or identify the irrelevant piece of information. So, Danny jumped through the window as he was in hot pursuit of the armed bandits. He had him in his sights and was determined to bring the perpetrator to justice. The cat slowly walked past the table and settled on his mat for a cat nap. As the bandit turned the corner, Danny lost sight of him. Still determined, he quickened his pace to close in on this ruthless intruder. So just take a minute, run it through. Think of which sentence here can be your piece of irrelevant information. We have a call on the line. Good evening, caller, and welcome. Caller, good evening.
Hi.
Hi, good evening, welcome. What's the name and where you're calling us from?
I'm Janaya Tobias, and I'm calling from Shopware.
Okay, so are you going to try to identify that irrelevant piece of information there?
Yes, thanks.
Okay.
The cat slowly walked past the table and settled on his mat for a cat nap.
Excellent job. Why did you say this piece of information was irrelevant?
Because it's not relating to Danny trying to get the bandits.
Very good. Do you think this paragraph here has a topic sentence?
Yes.
Which sentence would you say is your topic sentence here? Okay, so that was a trick question. The reason I asked you that is because this paragraph here is not a standalone paragraph. It was taken from an excerpt, so it's taken from a story, so it's not necessarily complete here. Yeah. So, but thank you so much. So that was just a trick question, but I thank you so much for calling and giving us the correct answer there. Do have a great afternoon. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at this other piece. Christmas in the remote village of Matura is a community celebration. Families, friends, and neighbors celebrate as one in this close-knit neighborhood. The birds chirped merrily as the white, fleecy clouds floated across the sky. On this special day, everyone prepares their favorite dishes with extras, as it is customary for each family of the village to visit your home. In this way, Christmas Day is not celebrated alone, but together with the rest of the community. We have a caller on the line there. Good evening, caller. Welcome.
Blueface, baby.
I think we lost that there, but please do try again. So I'm just going to give it a minute, see if that caller calls us back, or anyone else for that matter. Identify for me the piece of irrelevant information we have here. Look at it. Read each line carefully, as you should. Read it twice. You're looking to see which piece of information does not belong here. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and continue this piece here. So the piece of information, okay, great. We have a caller on the line there. Good evening, caller, and welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you?
Good.
What's the name and where you're calling us from?
Ariana, and I'm calling from Sandy Grandi.
Hi, Ariana. So nice to have you again with us. Can you identify for me the piece of irrelevant information?
The birds chirped merrily as the white, fleecy clouds floated across the sky.
Excellent job. Can you, before you go, can you tell me what the meaning of the word fleecy there?
Huh?
Can you tell me the meaning of the word fleecy? White, fleecy clouds. Do you think you know what that means? So I'm going to just teach you something there. Thanks.
Fleecy is like loose.
It's like? It's like white puffy clouds. It's just a term used to describe white puffy clouds. So that's a new word you learned there. So you can probably use it in your creative writing, right? So you have white fleecy clouds. So you know those beautiful clouds you see in the sky that you feel like you can just rest your head on a pillow looking like? These are what is called fleecy clouds, okay? And as the caller rightfully said there, the birds chirp merrily as the white fleecy clouds floated across the sky. This piece of information does not belong in this paragraph. This paragraph is all about Christmas in Matura, that remote village, Matura. So great job there. I really think you're having a really good grasp on this. I'm not going to do any more. We're almost out of time. So before we go, I just want to recap quickly what we did and what we will be doing next week and talk a little bit about our educational app, which is called Edmodo. Now, today, what we discussed just paragraphs. We analyzed paragraphs closely. We spoke about what a paragraph should entail and what it should not entail. We also went through various examples where callers were able to call us and tell us the topic sentence, your supporting details, and your concluding sentence. Now, if it's the first time that you are learning about this, or I'm reminding you about this, I hope that you took note of whatever you did, right? That is really important. This piece of information or lesson that we learned today is important because every day you are writing creative writing, whether it's report or narrative. Now, this necessarily here does not pertain to report, but the format is quite similar. So it's your narrative style writing as we are focusing on here, and you need to know how to write a paragraph properly and how to avoid irrelevant details. Next week or next day, which will be Tuesday, we'll be continuing. On Tuesdays, we have creative writing. We are going to be continuing with paragraph writing and move on a little bit from that. And before I go, Edmodo. Edmodo is the educational app which we have been welcoming a lot of students, new students and parents every day, taking the quiz, and we invite all the viewers, in fact, to join, create an account with us and get started, take all the quizzes and see results with us. Don't forget to log on every Monday, Tuesday and Thursday. Next up, we have Sir Ijaz with mathematics. Stay tuned. You do not want to miss what's ahead of you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Nyla, and it has been my pleasure.
Let me hear you sing. Got to have my Viva, water but so much better. Got to have my Viva, water but so much better.
Viva sparkling flavored water. Water but better.
Now available in more thirst-quenching options. 330 ml, 600 ml, 1.5 liter, and 5 liters. Choose the size that fits you best. Grab one today.
I'm a cool kid, you're a cool kid. We are cool kids, are you a cool kid? Every day I want it, I need to drink lots of it. Full of fruit, vitamin C, give me lots of it.
My imagination is growing and so am I.
I'm getting big, so give me fruit of cool kids. It's so juicy,
So I could touch the sky. Become a cool kid now by visiting www.fruitycoolkids.com.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening and welcome back to See Results on IBN TV, where you will be seeing results as you keep it locked in with us and continue to practice, continue to pay attention, continue to apply the knowledge that we are trying to impart to you each and every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m., covering all the 3 topics that are tested in the SEA, your creative writing, your maths, and your English language. It's been a while since we've done some maths. That was on Monday at 5 p.m. to be exact. And how do I know this? Well, that forms the topic of our discussion today. Today we're going to be dealing with time, okay? Time is a topic that gives a lot of students problems, and even some adults that I've met may still even have trouble interpreting the time on a clock, on an analog clock, for example. So hopefully everyone who has any misconceptions about how to read time, how to work with time, how to understand time, today we're going to try to clarify as much as possible. And you can look out tomorrow for new quizzes on the Edmodo app. We want to thank everybody who's done the quizzes so far. We already have over 100 and something subscribers, and about a little over half of those have actually done the exercises. We want to encourage you all to do more. The thing about it is, if you attempt it and you get it wrong, that's fine, because the right answers are given to you at the end of the quiz and you're going to learn via that, right? It's not a race to the top. We will highlight those who are doing well and who are excelling, those who are improving, but the end goal is really to sit the SEA exam in April 2nd of 2020 and to do the best that you possibly can. So we're moving on now. I told you all in our last episode that there are 4 strands that are tested in the mathematics paper, okay? 4 strands that are tested in the mathematics paper. We have the number. Next up, we have measurement, we have geometry, and we have statistics. There are a total of 9 questions on the paper that deals with measurement, and we're in the section 1 phase of our program right now. We're going to try to cover as many topics as possible in the short space of time that we do have, and we hope that it will be of benefit to those standard 5 students that will be taking the exam, and that also we can continue, God willing, with the standard 4 batch that will be moving up into standard 5, and we'll be able to maximally benefit you all, okay? So in section 4, typically the first, or one of in section 1, my bad, there are 4 questions that pertain to measurement, and one or more of those actually are usually about time, okay? There are various ways that they can test time. They can test your knowledge of telling the time, test your knowledge of days and weeks, and all the different things that comprise an understanding of time, all right? So we're going to quickly look through some of the concepts, but here we're all about learning through participation, and hopefully we can get some calls, we can get people interacting with us and trying to solve some problems here. All right, so I hope you have a piece of scrap paper out, something to write with. You all take notes, because in those quizzes I'm going to sneak in some questions to see who's been paying attention. All right? Okay, so time. What is time? Time is something that we have developed for practical purposes, and we have come up with different units to describe different lengths of time, okay? We have millennia, which deals with thousands of years, and there are actually measures of time that are even longer than that, and we can measure time all the way down to fractions of seconds. All right, so time can be very large scale, it can also be very minute, and we have to have an understanding of some of the more practical day-to-day applications of time for the SEA student level. Okay, so for SEA, we should be familiar with concepts such as years, months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, and seconds. All right, these are the things, the concepts in time that are going to serve you as you move upward from the primary school level into the secondary school level, and this really lays the foundation for your understanding of time even as an adult. Some of the things that you learn in primary school you're going to take with you for the rest of your life, and we hope that it remains with you and that you understand it, and that you are able to apply it in your day-to-day living. Okay. So we notice that we have different units of time, and what is very useful is to memorize certain conversions, right? Certain questions are going to test your recall or your recollection of the conversion between units. All right, now we know that you all have already been through the infants 1 and 2 as well as standards 1 to 3, so we do expect that you all will have some prior knowledge, but we're just going to recap, we're just going to put it out there so that if you haven't seen it in a while, it's here for you to see now. Okay, we have 60 seconds, which is a minute, right? We have 60 minutes, which gives us an hour, 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week, approximately 4 weeks in a month, and we have 12 months in a year. Now, there are other units that you may need to be familiar with in life, and possibly you might even be tested on some of those things, like, for example, knowing what a fortnight is, which is 2 weeks, by the way. You might need to know that a year has approximately 52 weeks. A year might have 365 days or 366 days in a leap year. All of these things are things that you need to be familiarized with. These are some of the key ones here, some of the main ones, and these are going to be applicable in our practice. Okay? So time, yes, it's regularly examined in the SEA, as we've already pointed out, and one of the ways that they love to bring it is in interpreting time on clocks and understanding how to read those analog clocks, how to convert time from those analog clocks into digital clocks, and so on. All right, so we are focusing right now on timekeeping, and our primary instrument in our day-to-day life for keeping time, well, actually now it might be the cell phone, because everybody has the time on their cell phone. I remember once somebody even asked me, why do I even bother to wear a watch anymore? Because you could just tell the time on your phone. But on the phone, it's also digital time, similar concept, right? But a clock and a watch in analog particularly requires some learning, some knowledge in order to understand what's going on that clock face. All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about right now before we discuss the digital clock. So for those of you who are unsure what I mean by analog and digital, all right, we have here an analog clock and we have here a digital clock. I'm sure you've seen one of these analog clocks perhaps in your parents' or your grandparents' kitchen or living room or something to that effect. Maybe you might not have one in your room at this age and in this time that we're living in, right? You may just have your phone to tell the time, or you may even have an alarm clock or something that will typically be digital, but we still need to understand the fundamentals, which is our analog clock. Okay. So we're discussing analog clocks. All right, so a clock face, so the face of an analog clock typically has numbers, right, or markings. Sometimes there aren't any numbers, like for instance in this little image that we have here, okay, that represents the hours 1 to 12, okay? And we have smaller markings in between the hour marks that represent 5-minute intervals, right? And each smaller stroke will represent 1 minute within that 5-minute interval, all right? Good. So we can see here now a nice example of an analog clock. Those are the hour numbers that we discussed, right? And we have those smaller markings denoting the 5 minutes on that we read using the minute hand, which we are going to discuss very soon. Now I know some of this, as I said, you all already are a bit familiar with it, but we just need to recap so that when we tackle the questions, you already have in your mind afresh and new, renewed the knowledge that you may have had before, right? So the shorthand, which is literally the shorter hand, is used to tell the hour in the time, all right? And the longhand or the minute hand is used to tell the minutes past an hour or the minutes to an hour, right? And we'll see, perhaps in the examples, how we know when it's minutes past and it's minutes to the hour. All right? Well, in this particular image, we neither have minutes past nor minutes to, because this time is actually exactly 4:30. All right? So we say 4:30. We don't say 30 minutes to, right? Maybe you might say 30 minutes past, but it's actually 4:30. All right. So the long or minute hand takes exactly 1 minute to move from one stroke to the next, or 5 minutes to move from one number to the next, right? And the short hand or the hour hand takes up 1 hour, which comprises of, as you would recall from the slide that we did before using the conversions between the units of time, the short hand or the hour hand takes exactly 1 hour, which is 60 minutes, which is 360 seconds to move from, 3,600 seconds to move from one number to the next, all right? So some more conversion knowledge there for you. Okay, great. Now that we've recapped the analog clock, we're going to look at the digital clock. Now, the digital clock, we love the digital clock because it's so much easier to read. It gives us the hour and it gives us the minute, a colon in between, and in that manner we're very well set up to tell the time without much thinking. All right, so the digital clocks shows the time with the hour written first, followed by a colon in the middle, and then the minutes, all right, as we saw here in this image. Good. So the digital clocks only show minutes past the hour, right? Whereas on the analog clock, you can kind of look at it and we read it by saying what is the amount of time past a certain hour, or the amount of time to the next hour. Generally, you would look at a digital clock and just read it as 4:50. It would not be incorrect to say 10 minutes to 5, but typically when we read off on a digital clock, we just read it as it is, okay? So here we have that 10 minutes to 5 would be written as 4:50 on a digital clock. How do we know that? There are 60 minutes, as we said, in an hour. If we subtracted the 60 minutes from the hour of 5, we would end up with 4 and 50 minutes, okay? And we're going to practice with some of that addition and subtraction as well on this edition of the program. All right. So, point to note. You may have seen a time written with AM or PM after it. What does that mean? For the first 12 hours of the day, between the hours of 12 midnight, when you should be asleep, and 12 noon, when you should be out in the play yard during lunchtime at school, all right, and hopefully not hiding somewhere on some phone or some tablet, okay? Those first 12 hours of the day, we give the time as AM, all right? So 6 o'clock in the morning would be 6 a.m. And then for the next 12 hours, between the hours of 12 noon and 12 midnight, we're going to give the time as PM. So 5 o'clock in the evening, when you should be in front of your TV, in front of your smartphone or your tablet, ready to take in C results in order to see results, that you would give that time at 5 in the evening as 5 p.m., all right? And your parents were aware of that. Hopefully you were aware of that, and that's how come you're here right now, all right? So a.m. in the morning and p.m. after noon. Great. I hope everybody's with me so far. I know it's quite a bit to take in, But that was just the recap on the concept of time. So we have here a question before us now, right? Mom arrived from work in the evening, right, at the time shown on the clock below. Express this time in digital notation using the 24-hour clock. Wait, hold up. What is that? The 24-hour clock? We were just discussing about the analog clock and the digital clock and the hours from 1 to 12, 12 midnight to 12 noon. Then we go from 12 noon back to 12 midnight. Where did this 24 come from? Well, the day is basically split in the traditional time telling or timekeeping into two halves of 12. All right, you have the first 12 hours in the AM and the second 12 hours in the PM. But sometimes it's more practical to give the time in terms of 24 hours. Why might you ask? In the medical profession, in the protective services, they like to give the time in the 24-hour system because it's absolutely clear, it's absolutely unambiguous. Write that word down, go to your dictionary, try to find out what it means, and that will help you with Ms. Nyla's class in ELA. The 24-hour clock gives you an unambiguous idea of what the time is, right? If I say it's 6 o'clock, right, or it's 6 in the 24-hour clock, we can only be referring to 6 in the morning. But what would we have to say in order to give the time at 6 in the evening? Let's find out. And then we'll return to this question. All right, so I have here in front of me another graphic with a time displayed as 14:28. All right, 14:28. Some of you may be seeing this for the first time. Some of you may have already mastered this topic and are now just revising with us. Okay, what does it mean to be 14:28? So typically in our 12-hour clock that we are accustomed dealing with, after the hour of 12, 12 noon, we start counting again in the afternoon. We start counting 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., and so on. But what if we just continued counting all the way up to 24? That should give you a clue about how to read this specific type of time notation. After 12, we move on to 13. What time do you think 13 would be? It would be 13 subtract 12, which would give us 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So what do you think 14:28 means therefore? Well, we've gone 2 over 12. We went 13 and 14, and we have the 28 as the minutes, okay? So this here is actually telling us that the time is 2:28 p.m. All right? So I have here this very neat tool with me that's going to help us understand how digital and analog translate, and as well as how we can apply our understanding of the 24-hour clock. Currently, our clock is set to 12 a.m. All right, we can see the 12 a.m. on the digital, and we can also see that the hour hand and the minute hand are both pointed at 12, which tells us that it's 12. Now, just from looking at this, we can't really know whether it's 12 a.m. or p.m., but as our digital clock is telling us currently, it's 12 a.m. or 12 midnight, okay? As we move our minute hand one increment at a time, we can see that the time has now moved to 12:05 a.m. in digital notation, or 5 minutes past 12. 5 minutes past 12. Look carefully again. We moved the minute hand from position 12 to the first stroke, second stroke, third stroke, fourth stroke, and then to the next number, meaning that we have traversed or we have moved 5 minutes from our starting position. Okay, so this is 12:05 a.m. The hour hand remains pointed at 12, but as you would notice, as we continue to move our minute hand along the circumference of this clock, the hour hand edges ever closer to the next hour, and the next hour being 1. Okay, so just some points to note. When we are at 3, right, we are at quarter of the circle, so we say that we are at 12:15, right? Everybody's clear on that. The hour hand is a little bit off of the 12 mark. If we move yet another 15 minutes down to the 6, we are now at 12:30, right? We have now moved, or the minute hand has now moved across half of our circle, from the 12 all the way up here to the 6 all the way at the bottom. So we're going to say that this time is 12:30, or in our digital notation, it's currently 12:30 a.m. Everybody is clear on that, I hope. We move again into the minutes past zone, into the minutes to zone. When do we make that transition? As soon as we cross half of the hour, we are now into the minutes to time. So notice that the hour hand is positioned now very close to the hour of 1, but it's not quite there yet, which tells us that we are still in 12 something, right? The time is still 12 something until we have met and passed that 1 marker. So in the digital notation, the time is now 12:35 a.m. But in our analog notation, we are actually 25 minutes to the hour of 1. How do we know that? Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 increments of 5 to move up to the hour of 1. Okay, and we know that each interval between the hour markings is 5 minutes. Have a look at the digital notation as we rotate our minute hand. With every successive number or hour marking, we are also moving 5 minutes, right? I hope everyone is seeing that at home. So between the time of 12:35 and 1 a.m., we have 25 minutes remaining. Therefore, we say that the time is 25 minutes to 12. As we move our minute hand all the way up to 12, we have now progressed to the next hour, which is 1 a.m. Okay, great. Let's take the time forward all the way to 12 noon. We are now at 12 noon, 12 hours later, half a day later. All right, the time is 12 p.m. or 12 noon, midday, and we are entering the p.m. zone. Notice just a mere minute before, we were in the a.m. 1 minute later, we have now entered the p.m. zone, the afternoon time, okay? And within this hour, we continue in the same manner all the way down to 12:30, going around the clock, 1:45, and eventually we'd get all the way to 1 o'clock as we did mere moments ago in the a.m. All right, now this is where we get into the 24-hour zone, right? We were previously 12:55, 12:56, 12:57, all right, 12:59 in the afternoon. But because we've switched to the 24-hour mode, we no longer see the AM or the PM being displayed in our digital notation. Okay, switch back to the 12-hour, we see the PM. Switch to the 24-hour, we're going to see 13 o'clock, all right? The hour of 13 or 1300 hours if you're in the military, for example. So how do we know that we are at 1 o'clock? Quite simply, It's past the hour of 12. It's a number greater than 12. So we know for sure that we are in the afternoon. And how do we know what time exactly in the afternoon we are at? Well, that's quite simple actually. We know that it's 13. All we have to do is subtract 12 to know that we are at 1 p.m. All right? I'm just going to take you forward a little bit more in our 24-hour clock so that you might have a better grasp of it. What if we continue moving? We're now at 1:15, which is 13:15, right? Or 13:15 hours, if you're reading it in the military style. As we continue, 13:30, right? And we progress as we move along in the day. We're now at 2 p.m., which is 14. And for every hour that we continue, we are just continuously counting upwards of 12 until finally we make it to the hour of 23, which in our conventional digital notation would be 11 o'clock or 11:20 in this case. And then we get to midnight. Some people will tell you that midnight is 2400 hours, and that's the convention in some places. But as we pass, it's actually more widespread for 12 o'clock to be denoted as 0 from the very first second, although you may see 24 or 2400 hours in some places. But as we continue in our minutes, we're going to get 0 now. And 0 means that we're in the first hour. We have not completed the first hour until we've made one rotation that takes us to 1 o'clock in the morning. Look carefully at the digital notation as I switch back to our 12-hour clock, and we should see the AM. Okay, so I hope that sheds some light as we move on to our questions, where we're going to take participation from the viewership. I hope that this was helpful. Bear in mind everything that we've said so far. It's very dense, but we have a lot of topics to move through in quite a limited space of time. But we want to make sure that we give you the fighting chance, or that we give you the edge that will take you from a school that you might just be pleased with to the school of your dreams. But more importantly, that you become more educated, more knowledgeable, that you take this knowledge with you into your life, wherever you may end up. But at the end of the day, when you sit in that exam room, you must feel to yourself that I have given myself every opportunity to do as well as I can. And for those of you who might find it difficult to reach to conventional after school lessons, right? We are here. We've got you covered. You are going to see results with see results, and we'll be back in a few after these messages.
Let me hear you sing. Got to have my Viva, water but so much better. Got to have my Viva, water but so much better.
Viva sparkling flavored water. Water but better.
Fruta, taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice of every day. Whoa, Fruta.
IBN can be viewed on the go now with the Airlink TV app for Google devices. Simply go to the Google Play Store, search for the Airlink TV app. Download the app, click on the link and fill out the form. The account activation will be emailed or texted to the user. It's safe as no credit card is needed. The first 30 days are free and you can subscribe and receive a box for your TV to stream the same content.
I'm a cool kid, you're a cool kid. We are cool kids, are you a cool kid? Every day I want it, I need to drink lots lots of it. Full of fruit, vitamin C, give me lots of it.
My imagination is growing and so am I.
I'm getting big, so give me fruit of cool kids. It's so juicy,
So I could touch the sky. Become a cool kid now by visiting www.fruitycoolkids.com.
Good evening, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to See Results on IBN TV. We are live on IBN TV and we are also streaming on the See Results Facebook page. On the See Results Facebook page, you're going to find links to our Edmodo page where you can register as a student and participate in our assignments, pose questions. We are actually going to pose some more questions based on the content that we did today and on Tuesday, tomorrow evening, God willing. Okay, so look out for that. We have a constant stream of students signing up and we want to keep the momentum. We want to keep it going. So I'm going to open the lines right now and I want you all to have a careful look at this question based on what we've just said. Right? If you need me to clarify anything that was said previously, feel free to do so. But we're looking at this question right now at home or wherever you might be streaming, and let's see if we can work this one out together. Okay? I'm going to read it for you. Mom arrived home from work in the evening. Oh, we have a caller already, mashallah. Good evening and welcome to IBN. Good evening, welcome to IBN.
Hello.
Hi, you're live on See Results. Who's calling? Can you tell me your name, please? Hello? Okay, so we're going to try that again. Caller, feel free to call back. All right, so mom arrived home from work in the evening, words to note, at the time shown on the clock below. All right, okay, great. We have another call on the line. Good evening, welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Good night.
Hi, good night. Who may I ask is calling?
My name is Adrian. I'm from Barakpur.
Okay, welcome Barakpur. Do you have an answer for us, Cindy?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
1825.
1825. Can you tell me how you know that it's 1825?
Because every number is 5 minutes. And
Right.
No, it's not 18. It's 18 because 6 is 24 plus is 18, so it'll be 1825.
Okay, great. 6 and the 24-hour clock is 18, right? How did we get there? Because we are at 6 in the evening. Keyword.
One is 13.
Right. Okay, thank you so much, Barakpur, for your contribution. You are absolutely correct. We have 6:25 in the PM because the hour hand is just a bit after 6. All right, and we have the minute hand at the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes after the hour of 6. Great, but it's in the evening. So how do we express that in the 24-hour clock? We are actually going to add, 12 hours to our time, and this is how we arrive at 1825 in our digital notation. So thank you very much, Barakpur, for that call. You are absolutely spot on. All right. We have another question here. Officer Branca completed his duties at work at the time shown, which is 1930. Express this time in standard digital notation. So before we went from the standard digital to the 24-hour, based on the information in the question, now we're going to have to go from the standard digital, from the 24-hour to the standard digital. Good evening, we have a caller on the line.
Hello, my name is Adrian. I answered the other one.
Okay, so we have a repeat caller. And what is your answer for this question?
My answer is 7:30.
7:30. Is that 7:30 a.m. or 7:30 p.m.?
7:30 p.m.
Excellent, excellent. I tried to catch you out there, but you were not caught out. Well done. Excellent response. The time here is 7:30 p.m. Thank you so much for your call. And again, for the benefit of those who are at home, all right, we have a time on the 24-hour clock of 19:30, and we want to convert that to the standard digital notation. So we're going to subtract now, and we're going to end up with 7:30, and we know that it's in the PM because only the hours after 12 noon would be numbers greater than 12. So from the moment you see a number greater than 12, we know that we've crossed over from the AM into the PM. All right, so thank you very much for that response. That was also correct, very accurate response. All right. So here we have a bit of a trickier question. All right, I want to focus in on that question there so that those at home can take the time and read it along with me. Satish started and completed his homework at the times shown on the clocks. Great. He took 40 minutes to do math, 35 minutes to do language arts, and the remaining time to do reading. How long did he take to do reading? Okay, so for my first caller, I just want to know at what time did Satish start his homework and at what time did he finish before we try to analyze it further to get to the answer to this problem. Okay, what time did he start his homework and what time did he finish? Feel free to call in now, think about it. We're looking at the first clock that says start in order to determine when he started. That's this clock over here. And we're looking at this in order to determine the time that he's finished. All right, this is a bit more involved question. By the way, this is also a section 1 type question which carries a total of 1 mark, so a bit more thinking for this question. We do have a caller on the line. Good evening, welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Yes, I would like to answer a question.
Okay, who am I speaking with?
Nicholas, quite from the Walton St. Joseph area.
All right, great. Do you want to give the whole answer to this question or do you want to tell me the start and finish time? At what time did Satish start to do his homework and at what time did he finish? You don't need to answer the whole thing at once.
He started 3 o'clock and finished past 4.
Excellent. He started the homework at 3 o'clock.
And finished it at past 4.
All right. He started at 3 o'clock.
And finished at past 4.
Excellent. Thank you so much for calling. Do you want to stay on the line with me and continue, or are you happy with your contribution for now?
I don't want to stay on the lines anymore.
Okay. Thank you so much and well done. So we've had help now with the first part of our question. We've established, this very brave young soul who just called us in, that we started at 3 o'clock, right? He started his homework at 3 o'clock and he finished at 4:30. Now notice they didn't actually tell us whether he's doing his homework at 3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. So that's why I'm not writing AM or PM, right? Because we want to be as clever as we can be, all right? And he took 40 minutes to do mathematics. So I want my next caller to tell me at what time he finished doing mathematics. If he started at 3 o'clock, what time did he finish doing his mathematics homework? If he took 40 minutes to do the mathematics homework, when did he start? Again, he started at 3 o'clock. Okay, we have a caller on the line again. Good evening and welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Hi.
Hi. Who am I speaking to?
Zilanzu.
Okay, welcome to the program. Can you tell me what time Satish finished doing mathematics if he started at 3 o'clock?
he would finish 1:30.
1:30? Okay, he started doing his homework at 3, and look here, follow with me as I use the pointer on the screen. He took 40 minutes to do mathematics. So if he started at 3 o'clock and he finished 40 minutes later doing his mathematics, what time would he have finished doing his mathematics?
3:40.
3:40, excellent. And as a bonus, can you tell me what is another way to say 3:40? What is another way to say 3:40?
4:04.
Sorry, repeat that?
4:04.
All right, so you're getting close, not exactly 4:45. How many minutes would it take to get from 3:40 to 4 o'clock? You tell me. We want to get to 4 o'clock from 3:40. Any idea? You're getting warm at the 2:45. Try again.
24.
22? Is that what I just said? 20 minutes to 4? Okay, thank you so much for calling. And you were indeed right that he finished his maths at 3:40, and another way to express 3:40 is 20 minutes to 4. Okay, we actually have to borrow an hour. Okay, we borrow an hour, and an hour is 60 minutes. So we say that 40 from 60 gives us 20. All right. Right. It gives us 20. So there are 20 minutes between. So therefore, it is 20 minutes to 4. 20 minutes to 4. Right. And the reason we're doing this is so that we can test as much of the content as we covered before during the first half of our mathematics segment. All right, so we've already established that he started his homework at 3 and he finished his maths homework, at 3:40. What about the language arts? He took 35 minutes from the time of doing the mathematics to do his language arts. He took 35 minutes. So at what point in time did he finish doing his language arts? Good evening, we have a caller on the line.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Who am I speaking with?
Ariana Chow.
Can you repeat that? Hello?
Ariana Chow.
Okay, and welcome to our program. Can you tell me at what point in time would he have finished his language arts homework if he started at 3:40 after finishing his maths? So he's starting at 3:40 with his math.
4:15.
Okay. So all right. So we're going to go to a break actually, and we'll be back very soon as I sort out my smart board here.
Okay.
Let me hear you sing. Got to have my Viva water, but so much better. Got to have my Viva water, but so much better.
Viva sparkling flavored water. Water, but better.
I'm a cool kid, you're a cool kid. We are cool kids, are you a cool kid? Every day I want it, I need to drink lots of it. Full of fruit, vitamin C, give me lots of it.
My imagination is growing and so am I.
I'm getting big, so give me fruit of cool kids, it's so juicy.
So I could touch the sky. Become a cool kid now by visiting www.fruitycoolkids.com.
Keep refreshed with Oasis Premium Purified Water. Now available in more thirst-quenching options. 330 ml, 600 ml, 1.5 liter, and 5 liters. Choose the size that fits you best. Grab one today.
Fruta, taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice of every day. Oh, Fruta.
Okay, good evening, assalamu alaikum, and you are rejoining me on C Results on IBN TV at 6:45 p.m., otherwise called 6:45, okay? I do apologize for that technical difficulty just now. And caller, I'm so sorry that we lost your call. I hope that you can call back and continue to assist. In the meantime, we're going to continue from where we left off. And that was that Satish had completed his mathematics homework at 3:40, and he then spent 35 minutes doing his language arts homework. So we want to know at what point in time did he finish doing his language arts homework. So if we have any callers out there who are willing to tackle this problem, please feel free to call us and let us know. He began at 3:40, he finished 35 minutes later. At what time did he finish doing his English language homework, his English language arts homework? All right. So it seems that we have scared away that caller, and thankfully we do have another caller on the line. Good evening, welcome to C Results on IBN TV.
Yeah.
Is this the same caller?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So Satish started his English language arts homework at 3:40, and he took 35 minutes to do it. At what time did he finish doing the language arts?
4:15.
4:15. Okay, great. And that is excellent. Can you tell me how you arrived at this 4:15?
So when it was at 3:40, you add 35 minutes, and you will get 4:75, and
Right.
then you so 1 hour is 60 minutes, and your 75 take away 60 is 15, so it will be 4:15.
Excellent, brilliant. So it would, thank you so much for your call. Well done, marvelous work. It would actually be 3:75, all right, but we know that there aren't 75 minutes in an hour. There are only 60, so we subtract our 60 from there. We're going to end up with 15 minutes, and we add this 60 to the 3, and we're going to get 4:15. All right, 4:15. Great. So he finished his language arts homework at 4:15, and now we want to know how much time Satish spent on his reading. And our first caller correctly told us that he finished his homework at 4:30. So now that we are aware that he finished his language arts homework at 4:15, how many minutes did he spend on his reading? Do we have any callers out there that's willing to give this one a shot? And we do have a caller on the line. Thank you for calling IBN.
Yes.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. My son trying to get you to answer the question.
Okay, put him on the line, please.
Okay, he's on there.
Hello,
Hello, good evening. Who am I speaking with?
Ronaldo Diaz.
Hey, welcome, Ronaldo. And can you tell us how many minutes he Saturday spent on reading?
He spent 15 minutes.
15 minutes on reading. And how did you arrive at that 15 minutes, Ronaldo?
He finished 4:30
Yes.
and
And at what time did he finish his language arts?
4:15, and then you take it away and you get 15 minutes.
Excellent, brilliant. So he took 15 minutes, all right? He spent 15 minutes on his reading. Thank you so much. Well done, marvelous work. Okay, so this quite elaborate question for 1 mark actually. It's a section 1 type question, and we have finally arrived at our answer of 4:15. Okay, great. Well done, everybody who pitched in and helped me solve this problem. So you notice that the mathematics in our essay is a bit challenging. All right, sometimes some grown people look at that paper, even some teachers look at that paper and are like, oh my gosh, this is so tough. That's why we need to give the effort now so that we can reap the rewards later on. All right? Okay, here we have a question that mixes between your knowledge of time and your knowledge of fractions. All right? So we're going to assume again that you did some fractions between Infant 1 and Standard 3 and Standard 4 even, depending on what class you're in right now. And an examination took 80 minutes. All right, and we want to express this time in hours. Who will be the brave soul to tell us how many hours this examination took? We do have a caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Welcome to See Results on IBN.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Alonzo.
Alaikum assalam, and welcome to the program. Do you have an answer for us?
Yes, it will be 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Okay, we have 1 hour and 20 minutes. Great. So he took 1 hour and 20 minutes, but we want to express this in terms of hours, right? So can you tell me how much is 20 minutes as a fraction of an hour? Do you know the answer to that?
20 minutes?
Yeah, 20 minutes as a fraction of an hour. So he took 1 hour, 1 hour and 20 minutes. Can you help us?
1/3.
1/3. Excellent, excellent, excellent job. Thank you so much for your call. That is 100% correct. How do we know that it's 1 hour and 1/3? As we've stated previously, 1 hour is 60 minutes. So how many hours do we have within the 80 minutes? Well, we take away 1 hour, we're left with the 20. That's how we know that we are at 1 hour and 20 minutes, because 60 minutes is 1 hour. Great. And now we're going to express this 20 as a fraction of 60, because we have 60 minutes in total, and we can easily break this down into 1/3. So 1/3. So we have 1 1/3 hours. Thank you so much, caller, for your help and for your participation. Notice the difference here in the difficulty levels between 2 questions that both carry 1 mark. So you need to be prepared for the unexpected. Okay? All right, great. So we have another question here that deals with our understanding of time, and it's integrating not just time, but also learning how to deal with numbers in ascending or descending order. All right, so let's take a moment to read our question. The table shows the time taken for 5 runners to complete a race, right? So we have the names and we have the times taken, right? Aliyah took 12 minutes, Divya took 18 minutes, Emily took 13 minutes, Rana took 20 minutes, and Jessa took 14 minutes. Find the difference in time between the slowest runner and the runner who placed second. And this will be our last question for tonight. So if we have anybody that's able to give us the complete answer to this question, feel free to call the line right now. Remember, it's a race, and we want to know the difference in time between the slowest person and the person who placed second. This one is a bit of a brain tease. All right, who's the lucky caller on the line? Good evening and welcome to See Results on IBN TV.
Hello,
Hello. What's your name?
Ariana Chow.
Hi, Ariana. Can you give me the answer to this question, or at least give me the steps that you're going to take?
6 minutes.
6 minutes. How did you get the 6 minutes?
I took away the second place, which was 18, and I took away the lowest minute, which was 12, and I got 6 minutes.
Ariana, thank you so much for your participation, but you have made an error, and I want you to listen carefully as I tell you the error that you have made, okay? It's a race. So, the person with the most amount of time taken to run the race is actually the person that comes last, not the person that comes first. The longer that you take to run the race means that you are behind everybody. So if the longest or the most amount of time corresponds to the last place, which amount of time you think would correspond to the first place?
2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah.
12 minutes. 12 minutes. Okay? 12 minutes is our first place runner because Aliyah took the least amount of time to complete the race. All right? The winner of a race is the person that takes the least amount of time to complete the race. So who is in third place then? Who is in third place?
Third place is Emily.
Okay, sorry, I'm asking you sorry for second place. My bad. And you are right. Second place is Emily, right? Emily took the second least amount of time to complete the race. And Jessa, who took 14 minutes, would have ended up in third. And then we have our second to last place, or our fourth place runner at 18 minutes. And our question wants to know the difference between the slowest runner, which is Rana, and the person who placed second, which is Emily. So what is the difference between Rana and Emily, Ariana?
7 minutes.
7 minutes. Well done. Fabulous. Thank you so much for calling and for participating and for sticking it through even though you didn't get it right in the first instance. I want to congratulate you and thank you so much for your participation. So that's it for today, folks. We're out of time on this session on time. And I hope that you join us next week again on Monday as we continue, God willing, with English language arts and some more mathematics. Look out for some time questions in our Edmodo page coming up tomorrow evening. I have been your teacher, Mr. Ijaz Ramsahai. Thank you so much for watching. Continue to lock in every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday to see results with See Results. Good evening and assalamu alaikum.
Let me hear you sing. Got to have my Viva, water but so much better. Got to have my Viva, water but so much better.
Viva sparkling flavored water. Water